everyone, I'm Rochelle Chernowski, and this is Shell Point Today for Monday, November 3rd. On today's show, living an active lifestyle isn't just for the independent living residents here at Shell Point. We'll check out what the folks at the Arbor are up to, and Lee County Sheriff Mike Scott stops by to talk about fraudulent text messages and how to stay protected. But first, Session 4 of the 6th Session Academy Series, Russia Under the Tsars, takes place today. Alexander I, Napoleon, and Nicholas I are the subjects of today's session, which begins at 1:15. It takes place in the Social Center on the island. Sign-ups are required. Tomorrow, another Academy class gets underway, and this one dives into Russia as well, specifically Russian Zostovo folk art. Pat Smelkoff will teach you the basic strokes as you practice painting Russian flowers, leaves, and borders. The class runs from 9 until noon on 4 consecutive Tuesdays, starting tomorrow. It takes place in the Sable Room at the Woodlands and is $20. Sign-ups are required. If painting is not your art form of choice, perhaps photography suits you. Tomorrow, the new photo studio and gallery on the island will hold its open house. Take a tour and get a chance to see all the incredible opportunities available to you. The open house will take place from 9 until 11 with refreshments being served in the Tarpon Room. And as you may know, Shell Point recently launched a new Friends and Family page on the resident website, www.shellpoint.net. The page is a great way to help your friends and family members stay connected with Shell Point. There are event photos, links to the magazine, links to our TV show, and even a link to the new Shell Point gift card. To get your friends and family members connected with the new page, visit www.shellpoint.net/friendsandfamily and click the share button to share the site. You will be prompted to enter the email addresses of those you wish to include. If you prefer to communicate through traditional mail, you can visit either service desk to request these informational postcards. They can be mailed to the recipients of your choice. For more information or to sign up for any of the activities we've talked about, stop by the Island Service Desk in the Resident Activity Center or call 454-2282. Or you can stop by the Woodland Service Desk or call them at 454-2054. Fulfilling the physical dimension of your life quest can be difficult, but the residents at the Arbor are proving that doesn't have to be the case. Take a look.
We started a strength and balance class for everyone here who wants to participate. And I started it here because I know it would benefit the people.
So often you're stiff at the end of the day or you're tired. And if you come and stretch a while and be with the other people, you have some laughs and you go home feeling great.
It would help them getting out of the chairs. It would help with their flexibility. We actually have weights. I bring in bands. We have balls. We just have a good time.
And I'm just here to get my stability. I can't stand. And so I'm here stretching and walking and doing sit-ups exercises so you try to get your balance when you're standing up and down.
They'll get stronger and their flexibility and their balance will be top-notch, I hope. For a half an hour, that's it. A half an hour. They do a little bit of stretching before we get their heart rate up, and then we do the weights, the bands, the balls, and we just have a good time, and they end up with a big smile on their face. And if that's what they want at the end of the class and they feel like they've had a good workout, it's well worth it.
Professor Adrian Kerr will be at Shell Point tomorrow presenting another of his fascinating history classes. This time he takes a look back at the glorious past of Java, Sumatra, and Bali. Here with more now are Terry Kolath and Professor Kerr.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath, and I'm here today to talk with Professor Adrian Kerr about the last class in his fall lineup in the Academy of Lifelong Learning. This class is the history and highlights of Java, Sumatra, and Bali. Hi, Adrian.
Hi, Terry. It's a pleasure to be here again.
Thank you. Now, these words just conjure up a lot of things. Java, Sumatra, and Bali. I think we all get images in our mind. How correct are they?
Most people associate Java with coffee, which is a very recent thing. A Java blend is very recent. In fact, coffee wasn't indigenous to Java, but there you are. Java and Sumatra are the great Indonesian islands, which go back to early man. In fact, Java man was found in a cave in the northern part of Java. He's the same period as Peking man. So about a million and a half years ago, these were the first times that humans had migrated into that very far south corner of Southeast Asia. And over the years, the civilization developed, and it was very much influenced by the Indians. We don't think of that these days, but if you go back to, let's say, 400 or 500 AD, the great traders in the world, along with the Chinese, were the Indians, and they had massive fleets, and they moved up to Burma, and they moved into further down the Southeast Asia, and eventually they found the Spice Islands to trade with, and nutmeg and cloves, and therefore they became very interested, and their religion, Hinduism, and their spiritual and other aspects of their civilization migrated into Southeast Asia, and Southeast Asia around about 500 AD was a Hindu-Buddhist mix throughout those countries, and they produced fantastic civilizations which now sadly are gone. We know that, for instance, Angkor Wat was growing at that time, 800 or 900 AD, and we know it well because it survived. The great stone temples of Angkor Wat, the greatest religious buildings in the world. To some extent, this happened in Java as well. There's a place called Borobudur, which is a Buddhist temple, and it's high in the hills on the south side of Java, next door to the volcanoes, because they felt that the gods lived in the volcanoes. And it's unique. It's a beautiful series of Buddhist bells, stupas, with little Buddhas sitting inside, and you can see through the bells to see them. But it is unique, and it's one of the ancient wonders of the world. And the curious thing was that Buddhism was centered in Borobudur. 5 miles down the road, the nearby kingdom developed a Hindu religion to Shiva and Brahma and Vishnu, and they were cheek by jowl. 5 miles apart, the great Buddhist temples of Borobudur, which is a huge tourist attraction, and next door, Prambanan, which is the same period, within 50 years. And these two families intermarried, lived beside each other. There was no religious conflict whatsoever, and they have these wonderful, enormous temples built with different religions. And then it stopped. The volcano eruption, decline in the civilization, and they were deserted, and they are, as they were left, about 1,000 years old. And they've only been rediscovered in the last 150 years. That's Java and Sumatra in a nutshell. And of course, most people think of Bali, and Bali is one of the most popular tourist centers in the Far East. It's unique because it's an island within Indonesia, which is Islamic. It's the largest Islamic country in the world. 150 million people live in Indonesia. But Bali has stuck to its roots, and it is a very Buddhist and to some extent Hindu center. And the island is mountainous, it's volcanic, it's small, it's got beautiful beaches, which the tourists love, but it's also got fabulous hillsides and beautiful oceanside Buddhist temples and mountain Buddhist temples, tiny little things in beautiful areas, which are well worth going to. So there's more than just modern hotels, golf clubs, and beaches in Bali. It's a stunningly beautiful part of the world, and it's trying to fight off the Islamic influence. And if you remember, sadly, the Bali bombings a few years ago, this is an attempt by the Islamic fundamentalists to claim Bali for Islam, and it has failed. Hopefully it'll calm down, but it's a great place to visit. The people are tremendously friendly, and it goes back into American culture, South Pacific, if you remember, and Bali High, and you remember the songs. And so there's a good connection between Bali and America, but also Bali is one of the most popular places for the Australians to go to, because it's quite close. It's only 8 hours flight from Sydney, so you find an interesting mix of east and west if you go to Bali.
Interesting. And I think something that's really great is how your mix of experience being there, your beautiful photos, and this history makes such a rich experience for people to remember their own travels there, or to just, experience something they won't ever see, but can really experience it.
It's understandable because it's 24 hours flights to get there, and you're totally turned around because of the time zone. It can't be more disturbed than being in Southeast Asia. It's the biggest time zone, so it takes you 2 or 3 days to unravel, and then you do the same thing coming back. So you really have to be focused and really want to go there. So if that's a little bit too much for you, come along to the talk and see it in the pictures.
So join us tomorrow morning. No jet lag, but you get to experience these wonderful, amazing places, Java, Sumatra, and Bali. Not only experiencing them through the pictures, but through the rich history that Professor Adrian Kerr always brings us. As always, you can sign up right at the door, 10 o'clock, Grand Cypress Room.
A new type of fraud is making its way to your cell phone, and you need to be aware. It's called smishing, and even though it sounds kind of funny, it's no laughing matter. Lee County Sheriff Mike Scott explains what it is and how you can protect yourself from being a victim.
Hi, I'm Lee County Sheriff Mike Scott. Did you know that spam text messages have become so prevalent that there is actually a given term to describe that specific form of fraud? It's true. And it's called smishing. The Lee County Sheriff's Office fraud line gets dozens of complaints from people who have received spam text messages. One of the most common forms of smishing is a text notification that a debit card has been compromised or suspended. The text lets a person know that they must provide their card information in order for the card to be reactivated by either replying back via text or by calling a phone number included in the message. Many of the messages don't identify a specific financial institution, but some have used the generic wording of credit union debit card. It is important that consumers understand that these messages are fraudulent and are being sent to lure debit card users into disclosing important financial information that could give a scammer access to fast cash via a compromised banking account. Remember, legitimate debit and credit card issuers will never ask for your personal or financial information via text message or email. So if you get a smishing text, you should delete the message and ignore the urge to respond with stop or no to prevent future texts. This will only notify the scammers that they have a real phone number. Now, while it's important to know how to avoid falling prey to this scam, it's even more important to know what steps to take if you provide your personal account information to a possible scammer. If the information you provided was for a credit card, call the issuer of that credit card that was compromised using the phone number listed on the back of your card. If the information you provided was for a debit card, contact your financial institution immediately to avoid losing cash. If you continue receiving fraudulent text messages, you can contact your cell phone carrier to discuss options for controlling spam. Some mobile service providers allow you to forward unwanted spam by texting it to 7726 or spam. This enables the providers to prevent future unwanted texts from the specific sender. For more information about smishing, or to report fraudulent activity, contact the Sheriff's Office fraud line at 239-477-1242. Once again, I'm Sheriff Mike Scott, and I thank you for being an active partner in securing the safety of our community.
Now it's time to cover all of Monday's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections. Right after this word from David Howenstein with a preview of his radio show on TV, Listening to the Words.
Nature is the inspiration for many of the selections in this week's Listening to the Words program. That includes a return to the Amazon jungle in another chapter from The Nunca Riddle, a novel by Shell Point resident Wally Kane. Then Shell Point land manager Steve Morton takes a metaphorical look at some of our sweet-smelling flowers. Shell Pointer Peter DeLisser contrasts sundown and sunrise, while two other poets draw inspiration from the natural world that envelops us all. Then hear the subtle and revealing voice of former speech and drama teacher and now Shell Point resident, Mary Hardwick. The fine and final words in this week's program come from another teacher with whom we gladly entrusted our children, namely Mr. Rogers. This is David Howenstein inviting you to hear this 30-minute radio show starting at the top and bottom of every hour this week, every day, by tuning to Shell Point Channel 12. As always, thank you for listening to the words.
Hi, I'm Jill Aldrink, and I'm here with Bev Chandley with the activities for Monday, November 3rd. Today is sign-up day, so head on down to the rack to sign up for those events that are in the Shell Point Life happenings. We start our Monday morning with the men's match play, doubles tennis, at 8 o'clock. And at 8:45, we have virtual bowling in the Resident Activity Center. At 9 o'clock, the food pantry volunteers. They are needed over at the Village Church. At 9:15, you have options. You can play billiards in the Resident Activity Center. Also at 9:15, you can head down to the Pottery Studio in the tunnel on the island. At 10 o'clock, men's match play doubles tennis. They meet at the tennis courts in the Woodlands. And also at 10 o'clock, the Suzy Q. They'll be heading out to Woody's for waterfront dining for lunch. At 10:15, the Parkinson's Enrichment Group will be meeting in the community room at King's Crown. And at 10:30, the Disciple Men's Study Group meets in the game room at the Woodlands. Table tennis clinic will take place in the Tarpon Room at 10:45, and we finish our morning with Health Connections Agility and Flexibility in the Health Club at 11:30, and that class is currently full. Here's Bev to tell you what's happening this afternoon.
Thank you, Jill. We're going to start with Mahjong. That's played at 12 o'clock in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. We have advanced table tennis in the Tarpon Room at 1:15. We also have a 1:15 Samba. That's a card game in the Resident Activity Center. Samba, as well as Tone Chimes, is at 1:15. They'll be in the Osprey Room. At 1:30 until 3:30, you'll find the Model Train Room open for tours, so head on down for some fun. We have a Health Connections class at 1:45, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1 in the Health Club. That's currently full. 2 o'clock, we have the Beady-Eyed Bead Club. They'll be in the Oak Room at the Woodlands. And we have another Health Connections class, Pilates Stretch. That'll be in the Health Club at 3 o'clock. At 3:15, the Shell Point Singers Rehearsal will be in the choir room of the Village Church. And we have a Health Connections class, Aqua, Agility, and Conditioning at the Life Quest Aquatic Center at 3:30. 6 o'clock's the time for a Health Connections class entitled Beginner's Square Dancing. That's down in the Health Club, and that's currently full. We're going to jump to 6:30 for Duplicate Bridge in the Game Room of the Woodlands. And our last activity is 7:30 Health Connections class, Square Dancing Instruction at the Health Club. Well, that just about does it for Monday, and we'll see you back here for Tuesday's activities.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Monday, November 3rd. At 10 o'clock, we have a class on biofeedback in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands for those who have signed up. At 10:15, Talking is a New Typing will begin in the Manatee Room on the island. Sign up is required. At 10:30, we have Appreciating Words continuing in the Oak Room of the Woodlands, and they welcome everyone. At 1:15, our Windows 8 class continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. And also at 1:15, Russia Under the Tsar, Session 4, will take place in the Social Center of the island for those who have signed up. I'd like to tell you about a couple new classes coming tomorrow. We're going to have Introduction to Russian Zostovo Folk Art with Pat Smelkoff, an art class I hope you'll sign up for. We also have the History and Highlights of Java, Sumatra, and Bali with our own Professor Adrian Kerr. We have a Technology Today and Tomorrow class, Printing from Your Tablet. This is taught by Penny Modrich of Nautilus and Bruce Findlay of Sundial.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is chicken parmesan with angel hair pasta and broccoli. The dinner special is Old Home Cooking Night for $11.95, and the soup of the day is tomato. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Monday, the special is a Monte Cristo sandwich with fries for $7.25. The dinner special is orange chicken with steamed rice and grilled vegetables for $8.25. And the Palm Grill is closed on Mondays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Greetings and welcome to Village Church Connections. You'll see us here with our shoe boxes, and I'm also here with Priscilla Waltz, who has been a leader in this ministry at the Village Church. Thank you for joining us, Priscilla.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about Operation Christmas Child.
We have been getting boxes ready and assembled, and they're now stacked up at the church ready to pick up. But before we get into some of the detail about that, tell us a little bit about Samaritan's Purse and the whole Operation Christmas Child thought process.
Well, Operation Christmas Child, the shoebox project, started 21 years ago, and it has been growing as an organizational project ever since. And fortunately, we have been growing with it too here at Shell Point, and I'm thankful for that. It's an outreach to children all over the world who many of them never receive a gift for themselves or a gift. They hardly know what a gift is. And this is an opportunity to tell them and show them that they have another gift, and that is God's love. And so we pack the boxes and send them, and before they're actually shipped out, a brochure is put in their language, The Greatest Journey, and it's an introduction to Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's the ministry of the Operation Christmas Child under the sponsorship of Samaritan's Purse, yes.
And churches all over the country participate in this ministry, pack shoe boxes and send them off. Some of our folks may have never done this, so let's talk through the process just a little bit. I'm holding an empty box.
Okay.
And if they come to the village church, they can pick up an empty box, and inside that box, they'll find instructions that tell them how to pack the shoe box. Also label on here so that they can label it for a boy or girl. There's a couple rubber bands in the box, and when they're all finished, they'll put those rubber bands around the box so that the box stays closed, obviously. And so it's a fairly easy process. They just need to do that and then return it to the church. But they may not know what to put in it.
Well, that's where this little pamphlet comes in. The brochure that is in box tells how to pack a shoebox.
Okay.
So it gives you ideas of things to put in, a few things that you shouldn't put in, and how to select for a boy or a girl. And the strip that you put on the top of the box indicates also the age group, and that should be marked. Even if you don't know quite what size you want to put it or what age you want to put it, please mark something on it so that it helps the other people that are passing them out.
And I believe you've got a packed shoebox here if you want to open it and just show folks what that looks like.
Quite a selection of things. School supplies are in the bottom of the box. Cuddly little toy, a t-shirt, some balloons for fun. Some toiletries are really very, very welcome. Toothbrush, toothpaste, and combs, a plastic cup, some hard candies, but they must be wrapped, and they really best should be put in little plastic bags. So that gives you some ideas, but that's just hardly touching the surface. There are so many things that you can put in that little boys and girls all over the world would love to have.
And it's really nice to do kind of a combination of practical things and fun things. Because that just gives them a little bit of what they don't have in those areas. Our goal this year is to pack 400 shoe boxes. That was our goal last year, and we came really close, but we just didn't quite make it. So this year, we need to work together and see if we can surpass that goal.
Yes, we would like to do that.
And I also know you and I were talking about the fact that it is possible to track your shoebox.
Yes.
They have the ability to do that online now if people want to track and find out where their shoebox goes. And we would love to hear those stories.
Yes.
So if somebody has been tracking their shoebox, or perhaps they get a letter back because they included an address from a boy or girl somewhere in the world that says thank you, we would love to know that.
We surely would. And the instructions for doing that are included in this little brochure. So people have that to refer to also.
Okay, that's great. And when are our collection dates?
All right, we have 2 collection dates to remember. One is our own at Shell Point Village Church, and that will be the week of November 9 through 16. And then on the 18th, these boxes will go to the national collection place for this area, which happens to be Cape Coral.
Okay.
And so people will have through the 16th to get their boxes back to our church and have them go on the way. And interestingly, when these are taken to a what they call a national collection center, they are all checked before they go out, and it's requested that $7 be sent with each box. Now, if a person is sending more than one box, they only need to send one check covering 2 boxes.
Okay.
And not worry about the fact that there's no $7 in the second box.
And that helps them cover the shipping.
Yes, right. And they really need it for that because they send them literally all over the world.
Okay. So our boxes are stacked up. They're ready to be picked up and filled, and then we encourage folks to bring them back to the Village Church sometime between November 9th and 16th.
Preferably not before that.
Right. We just don't have a lot of storage room, so if they can bring them back that week, that's really helpful.
Right, yes.
Great. Thank you, Priscilla, for being with us, for your passion for this ministry and all the work that you do, and for introducing this to our Shell Point community.
Thank you for this opportunity.
And thank you for joining us today. Please stop by Village Church and pick up your box as soon as possible, and then have fun shopping to fill it. There's a boy or girl somewhere in the world that will appreciate it this year. Have a wonderful day.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow for a look at the day respite program at the Arbor. Plus, contributions to the employee Christmas gift are underway. We'll explain how you can take a part, and we'll take a look at the new exhibit now showing at the Art Studio. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Monday, November 3rd. I'm Rochelle Chernowski, and for all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.